Well, hello friends, Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. And let's get open for business here. Actually, it looks like we're already open for business here. Um, had not planned on having a live stream. You know what, Velour Watts, you know what? Brush it off, man. Dude, seriously, typical cowgirls. Come on, man, enough with the hate. Had not planned on having a live stream and stuff today, but unfortunately, we got all kinds of news. And I told you guys to be prepared because things start happening when the league starts getting together for the first time since the Super Bowl. All the owners, all of the GMs, everybody is in town for the combine and everything else. So understand that this is when business starts to happen. And of course, the NFL has gone through and they've opened up the suspension bag of tricks and said, hey, let's go ahead. Oh, I must have unplugged it. Oh, it's unplugged. Thank you, Joseph. Did you hear something? Okay. So anyway, now we got that open for business up here. I got that unplugged. There's so many different wires and everything out here. I'm actually figuring out how to redo this whole studio stuff. But in case you haven't heard, I think I need a shot for this one. Randy Gregory has been suspended indefinitely. Most likely for either failing a drug test or not showing up for a drug test. And as the old saying goes, the Dallas Cowboys will make you drink. So we're going to go ahead and get our carbs and our sugar in with our coffee because we need to wake up. But I'm going to say this much, that if it was going to happen, this is the best time for it to happen. In the same way, we were lucky to have Tony Romo get hurt when he did in preseason because it gave Dak Prescott enough time to actually get ready to take over and get prepped for the season. This gives us enough time to figure out a game plan to make up for it. Okay? We just started the whole process of figuring out who's going to be here and who's not going to be here. We got free agency, which starts 2 weeks from yesterday, legal tampering, that you can start talking to players, and making deals. How you doing, North Carolina's biggest fan, Cowboys fan, Savage Time, Velour Watts, Mean Mug 44, Joseph, how are you doing, man? I'm looking forward to getting that package, Joseph. This is at least enough time that we can go ahead and plan for it. But it changed. Here's the thing, Dre, why? Why cut him? At least we got him for the season, and he ended up playing enough to help us win going down the stretch. Understand, if he is suspended for a year, it doesn't cost us anything to keep him. You're not paying him when he's suspended. So if you have the attitude that you get anything from him, then it's a win, then you take that. I know it's like, cut the bum and things like that. It's not a matter of him not wanting to play. He's got a problem that a lot of us do. There's a lot of us that are on the air right now that have addictions, be it alcohol, be it drugs, be it workaholics, be sexaholics. Everybody's got a vice. And unfortunately, even though marijuana is becoming more and more acceptable everywhere but the NFL, it's not acceptable on that job. So who knows, by the next collective bargaining agreement, the Players Association may have it in there that, hey, weed is okay. We okay with some weed, for all you know, and that's only 2 years down the road. So you cut him, and now it's legal to smoke, and then he's gone to somebody else and becomes a Hall of Famer. Yeah, we know tomorrow. Right now they are licking their chops at ESPN. Stephen A. Smith, aha! Oh, he's sitting there right now, I guarantee you. He's in the mirror looking like this. They can't stay off the weed. No. Let me try that again. They can't stay off the weed. He's practicing. You know he is. You know he is. And the thing about it is, I feel sad for him. Because sometimes I've had to deal with a person and that literally comes in and out of our lives that's addicted. And every time, it breaks your heart. It breaks your heart because you always think that this time she's turned the corner. She's got it together. We're over the hump. We're good. And then when you least expect it, when you let your guard down, when you think that everything is going to be okay, is when they slip again. All I got to say is that's some good weed because it's cost him probably about $20+ million it's cost him, if not more than that. So I don't know what to tell you on that one. But what you have to understand is when you're dealing with somebody who has addictions is they may be not getting high, but once you are an addict for the rest of your life. You may go through the rest of your life not hitting it, but you still are always an addict. And it's real easy to slip. And, you know, more than anything else, I hope that he can get his life together in the same way David Irving, who, God, you talk about somebody who is literally smoking away his life. Right now, if he had his head on his shoulders, if he had played anything like he did the year before, do you know how much money the Cowboys would have re-signed him for? I guarantee you, if he had had 10 sacks last year, he'd be in line for a good $10 million. Easily. But can't force somebody to do something that they don't really believe in. So that is what it is. And that's the thing about it. You actually, Savage Time, you hit the nail on the head because you can't help somebody who does not want to be helped. This person that I was talking about, you could look at her and you're like, how can you live this way? In her mind, there's nothing wrong with living on the streets. I'm happy. I'm good. And we could bring her, we could work with her and, show a different side and everything else. But the call for that was just too much. Well, what can I say? He could have just as easily gone out and broke his leg and not been able to play for a year too. So the reality is, whether it was drug suspension, injury, whatever, that happens in football. And that's why you have to plan. You have to understand you have a bucket of money that you've got to feed the beast with. Okay? You got to make sure you don't spend too much money on wide receivers or too much money on quarterbacks or too much money on the offensive line. You have to cover all of your bases. And our defensive line, even before him going out, was thin. We were looking at tackles saying we need another one because we have Antoine Woods, we have Malik Collins, and we have Tyrone Crawford. Not the same? How's it not? You lose a guy, you lose a guy. When he played really well. There have been other people out there that have been functioning drunks, alcoholics, drug addicts, and things like that didn't get caught. Marcus, I'm not going to say we're screwed. Like I said, I'm happy that it happened today than if it happened in like August 15th. Because you got enough time to go ahead and say, we can do something about that. You can go ahead and say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and sign Dak. We're going to backload the contract. We're going to sign Zeke. We'll backload the contract a little bit because we don't want to put it too far off. You can say, we're going to go ahead and get Amari Cooper's deal done, and we're going to go ahead and reduce that number a little bit. We can go to Zach Martin. Zach Martin he'll get his knee scoped, and even on one leg, he was still one of the best guards in football. We'll pull $10 million there. And you can go out and get a guy. And I still say you'll get a bigger bet. Here's what I would say personally. I would focus in on getting the nastiest nose tackle that I could. Because the nose tackle is going to cost you less than that defensive end will. But that nasty nose tackle with DeMarcus Lawrence getting paid is going to make whoever is on that other side that much better. Robert, I won't say he's irreplaceable. Numbers-wise, he was basically like George Selvey was. 7 sacks last year? I think it was 7, or was it 6? I have to look it up. And if Law is back in the house, jump on in. Let me pull out. Um, 6 sacks. I'm not going to say a guy that got 6 sacks is irreplaceable. Not going to do that. Not with a lot of the, Randy Gregory made a lot of great plays, but he also made some bonehead ones because he was undisciplined. We had a lot of penalties that also went along with that, and some of those were his fault, some of those weren't his fault. So I'm not going to go on and say he's irreplaceable. I'm not going to say that anybody isn't irreplaceable, because throughout the NFL history, guys have been replaced. Dorrance Armstrong, yeah, he may be a beast, but I still think that now this is just going to change what you're doing a little bit. It's going to make you look at free agency a little harder than usual. Jose, welcome to the show and stuff. I don't normally live stream this early with news on the Cowboys, but with it being the first day of the Combine, with Stephen Jones speaking, and with Randy Gregory being suspended indefinitely. Well, Brian, the Cowboys are always picked on. I don't know that per se is just because, they're the Cowboys, but if he didn't take the test, if he didn't show up for the test or didn't pass the test, you can't blame the NFL on that. He has to blame himself for getting into the program by going to the Combine and failing that drug test. So, and if he doesn't realize after having to sit out for a year, having to go through and get half of the team basically to say, we got this guy, and stay clean, you can't blame the NFL for that. You can't. At some point, you have to own up to your own shit. And Randy Gregory has to own up to it. At least, I will say this much, at least for David Irving. David Irving realizes he's not blaming anybody for his failed drug test. He said, I like to smoke weed. I did it. Hey, that's me. I'm going to live life the way I want to. At least he's owning up to it. Randy, you don't hear much from Randy Gregory. You don't know if he's owning up to it, and you don't know if he's just got a problem and just can't help it or what. But to say that a guy who had 25 tackles and 6 sacks is irreplaceable is not, that's not true. Not anywhere close to being true. So, Law, when you call in on the Cowboy Joe Boo one, not the other one, because sometimes I think you've got the old one. In fact, what I'll do is I'll sent you a thumbs up on there. There we go. I sent you a thumbs up, so that's the one to call in on when you call in. He must got that yellow weed. I don't know about the yellow weed. I don't smoke weed enough to know what yellow weed is. I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried because we got time to take care of it. Law Nation laying down the law. Okay. Yeah. He can definitely bring the law on this one. They should be allowed to smoke weed. Well, that's one of those things that they can talk about during the collective bargaining agreement that's coming up. But yeah, the conspiracy theorists that they ended up getting Randy Gregory to go ahead and bypass Robert Kraft, because you know he's going to be talked about. You really, Adam, you really want me to have a clock stream going 24 hours a day just watching the NFL clock, huh? I'd have to actually just set up a channel just to do that. I can't, because then I can't ever get on there and talk. That's the corn mark. Okay. Okay. So, oh, cornweed? Okay. That just went whoosh over my head. At least it's not a legal issue and just an NFL possible. Right. Yeah. He's not like sleeping with human trafficked women or anything. Um, this is going to happen eventually, Randy. It's too bad, and that's the sad thing, Uh, it's smoking weed. It's not like he's out drunk driving or beating women or anything like that. But, yeah, I don't know what to say on that one. How you doing, Kathy? Marcus Garvey, Joe Garcia, Todd Wharton, Kenneth Taylor, Sheila Neal, I Will Elude, Michael White, Robert Apakin. How you doing, Robert? Louis Navarro, Dre the Great, Savage Time, Q Childs, Malicious Cowboys, Adam Four. Who else did I get? In other news, at least, if you don't think that Stephen Jones is getting closer and closer to being the man in the Dallas Cowboys, just look at the press conference today, because Stephen Jones was all over that today. Stephen Jones being the first one to speak for the Dallas Cowboys. And as we heard from him, he had a lot to say. He had a lot to say about wide receiver. He said he really likes Cole Beasley. They would like to have Cole Beasley back, but understands that he's a free agent and he's going to take care of getting his however he can get his. So he's not sure if they'll be able to resign him. But he's also very high still on Allen Hurns, and looks and says that, we can't sign Cole Beasley, Allen Hurns, and you look at what he did in Jacksonville, basically without a quarterback, that he may be a possibility for us to go ahead and think to be the other guy to go in the slot as well. So it'll be interesting to see how much Cole Beasley gets. Now, the interesting thing is a lot of people say, oh, he's going to end up in New England. But if he's looking to get paid, you're not getting paid in New England. You're not getting paid in New England. You may win a ring, but you're not getting big money there. So if it's all about money, it won't be New England. But I dare say that Cole Beasley may have more of an interest to coming back to the Cowboys now that Scott Linehan is gone than if Scott Linehan was still there, because he was kind of in Linehan's doghouse, where a lot of people are loving the clock idea. Okay. I don't know. Can you stream? I thought you could only stream up to 12 hours. I don't know that you could do it 24 hours a day, or would I have to basically keep resetting it every day, I guess. I guess we could do that. Just leave the clock running, countdown clock to the NFL. Okay. People do sleep streams and people watch that, so why not? That's a true fan that just sits there and watches the clock counting down on a regular basis. We've got Randy Gregory, Carmo Cowboys. We got Randy Gregory suspended indefinitely. We don't know if it's for missing a test, which counts as a failed test, or failed test. Malik Collins is still here. Malik Collins has had, injury problems on and off with the feet, and he played actually really well to the season. He'll still be there. You've also got Antoine Woods, another beast, and you got Tyrone Crawford. But now looking at end, you don't have a whole lot there. You don't have a whole lot of playmakers there at the moment. So we're going to have to look at somebody in free agents. Yeah, Austin is a free agent, but his value is not going to be that high, being that he's coming back off an injury. And the green scene, yeah, it's actually $5 million if you cut Alan Hearns. But that's one of those ones that you can do it and grab the cash, but it's one of those ones that you don't really feel good about. When you think about how he ended the season holding onto the ball as his leg was decapitated. I know that's not the right term for it, but that's literally what happened. Well, my heart says hold on to him. My head says grab the cash. And that's the problem. Now you got to look at it and say, we need some extra money because we're going to need to probably sign somebody else. Well, thank you, Denise. I appreciate that. Randy wants to play for Salt Lake Stallions, so that may be where he has to play. Well, I keep forgetting about Taco. Taco's got to step up. You know, it's year 3. It's time to go ahead and start making a name for yourself. So, if anything, you know, he kind of pouted there last year because he felt like he wasn't getting an opportunity. You're going to get an opportunity now, and you need to show what that first-round talent is supposed to be about. Yeah, you know, like I said, green scene. I wouldn't want to be the general manager that's to cut these guys. Next man up. Amen, Sheila. Amen. Let me check something here real quick. Plug this in before it dies. Been doing so much work and stuff here that it's out of kilter. My battery's dead. You know how it is with the Dallas Cowboys. News is always breaking. I just want to make sure nothing else broke on me. And Jason Garrett declines to talk about Randy Gregory's suspension. Said he will talk to reporters during a scheduled meeting thing tomorrow. So we'll get word from him tomorrow. Just check this one out. Randy Gregory's friend and attorney Daniel tells me that of the suspension, we have the greatest faith in Randy as a person. He continues to work to do the right thing. The sky is not falling. Okay, that's his attorney. So let's see exactly, you know, what it is that happened. For all we know, maybe it was a slip. I look like a DJ from the 80s. Oh, man. Really, Matthew? Really? Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, Randy Gregory had 6 sacks last season. Only DeMarcus Lawrence and David Irving have posted more sacks in the last 5 years. Yeah, there's that. We've had a bunch that have had 6. Actually, had a lot of guys who've had 6. Interestingly enough, before this broke, Stephen Jones, in our minds, you can never have enough defensive line depth, especially the way Rod likes to play them. He likes them to play with their hair on fire. So you can never have enough defensive linemen. So that's always going to be the situation, Stephen Jones. That was before, that was before we found out about him being suspended. And so you're going to need to add another one to the mix. And we were already in looking for another playmaker. So at least that's the last thing. February has been a sticky month for Randy Gregory. He's failed a drug test in the NFL Combine in February, which was the part of the reason why the Cowboys, got him. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so this is the thing that's kind of killed us. Think about this. Orlando Scandrick, 2014, suspended. Greg Hardy, Rolando McClain in 2015. DeMarcus Lawrence in 2016. David Irving in 2017, 2018. And now Randy Gregory again. We do have a bit to spend, but it starts going quick when you start paying a quarterback, when you start paying a running back, when you start paying a defensive specialist. They're going to have to get kind of creative with the contracts, and they're going to have to probably do some bloodletting, letting some guys go, and maybe do some restructuring as well. I still believe that this team is good enough that you want to challenge for trying to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think that you actually go all in on this year, because I was talking earlier on my other stream that you look at this team and you look at the NFC right now, there is no powerhouse that you say you can't beat. So if that is the case, then you say, what do we need to do to try and get ourselves over the hump or to give ourselves an advantage? And you start looking and saying, okay, let's rent a couple guys for a couple years. So I still believe that the Cowboys were looking at doing that regardless, because hearing Stephen Jones talk about Jason Garrett today, basically he went on record and saying, listen, we got a young team. Our expectations have changed where we need to go to another level. And that goes for not just the coach, it goes for the players, it goes literally for everybody in the organization, that there's a sense of urgency for this team to win now. And that's where he ended up putting Jason Garrett on notice. Green source, yep. Lee and Hearns could free up cash, without a doubt. Cole is a free agent, so you're not free. You're going to spend money to keep Cole Beasley. Well, at least we have some time to try and make a decision on what to do. Think about this. Who thought Antoine Woods was going to do something this year? Anybody? Anybody see that this time last year? Anybody? Do the twist. I don't dance. Well, again, some guys are going to get opportunities to try and step up and make a name for themselves. Taco's definitely, if you're Taco right now, you got to have a big smile on your face. And you need to get hungry and go all out on this off season, learning everything that you can, getting as strong as you can, and getting ready to make an impact, because now is the opportunity. Because here's the thing, going in your third year, this is the time to start making a name to get that big payday coming up. So you need to start showing something more than what you did already, or else you're not going to get that big payday. Miguel, you are 100% right with the Patriots. The Patriots don't have a lot of blue chip players. They don't have a lot of great players. They have a lot of very good players, and they play them. They don't just use their starting 11 on the offensive defense. They use guys that are in the 30s on their team. So that's where they get the biggest bang for the buck. And when they lose somebody, they don't lose that much production from a position. Well, I got to tell you, I will elude. The Super Bowl was terrible. Oh, God, that was really terrible. And you almost think that it was karma coming back on the Rams on that to serve them justice for being there, because they didn't belong there. Well, I like Taco coming out of college. The thing about Taco when he came out of college was he was just a starter for really one season, and he was very, very raw. He needed to actually start developing some moves and things, and the Cowboys reached a bit to try and get him, because at the time when they took him, there wasn't a lot left on the board, and they knew that if they waited till the second round, there was not going to be any pass rushers around. And you, at that time, didn't think that DeMarcus Lawrence was going to become the guy that he did. So you were thinking that we got to get the best pass rusher out there. And unfortunately, TJ Watt didn't fit their body type. The Cowboys get stuck on this whole thing of we like a certain size, stature, and everything else, and a length to them. And basically looked at TJ Watt and said, meh, you don't fit that build. We'll go with Taco. Danny Barrow, too. let me see if I get this straight now. Let me make sure I get your logic here. Of all the quarterbacks that were drafted in 2016, only 3 of them actually are starters. Wentz, Goff, and Dak. Wentz and Goff were the first 2 picks. We picked up Dak, who has started 30, how many games? I'm sorry, has won 33 games in 3 years, more than the other 2, was picked up in the 4th round. How was that a bad pick? Even if your whole contention is that he's an average quarterback, even if you say he's only average, you got him in the 4th round with a compensatory pick. How is that a bad one? Well, oh, okay. Here's the thing. If you look back in the history of the Cowboys, what the Cowboys did was they found players that other people hadn't looked at. You know, we ended up looking at track stars. We ended up to traditionally black colleges and things, and started getting a feeder of guys from places you didn't normally look, which was great. So we had a stream, an inside track to get guys that were better than the other guys. And what Jerry has done is he's looked for discounted guys that have fallen for whatever reason, be it by injury, be it by off the field issues and things, to try and say, hey, maybe we can get something. Sometimes it works and you get Jalen Smith, because nobody thought Jalen Smith was going to ever play again. You knew he was great until he got that injury, and it looks like that was one hell of a pick. Sean Lee was another guy who was injured in college and things, and you know, at times Sean Lee has played like a Hall of Famer. Other times he just can't get on the field. So it was a mixed bag on that one. And then of course Randy Gregory, well, he should have been a top 15 pick, but because of the failed tests, he dropped all the way down to us in the 2nd round. It's like, okay, he's got talent to be a 1st round pick. Maybe we get lucky and buy him in the 2nd round. And it's hit or miss, as any draft pick is hit or miss. Wentz had no running game and played crap this year. Okay. I kind of think of Dak as an Alex Smith winner. Okay. Redskin 24/7. Would you take Dak Prescott for your quarterback? I'm curious on that one. Wentz is done. I'm not sure that the thing about Wentz, you know, we're not so much on the Eagles here, but the thing you have to worry about Wentz is he one of those guys that's going to have chronic injuries? The last 4 years, he's had injuries, and he's still a young guy. So if he's a young guy having injuries now, what's going to happen 3, 4, 5 years down the road from now? It's the Patriots way, and we have the new Cowboy way. The Cowboys have shown to be winning ways. We definitely have. In fact, we have won more games over the last 4 years in our division than any of the other teams. Now, the Eagles did win a Super Bowl, so they have that. But as a whole, we've done pretty good in our division. Amen to that, Robert. He didn't have a whole lot to work with wide receivers at first. See, look at that. Redskin fan, Redskins 24/7. I appreciate you coming in here, man. He'd take Dak in a heartbeat. He said, I like winning, you know. Unfortunately, Cowboy fans, we get to be a little bit spoiled. Wentz had a 110 passer rate in this Are you sure about that? Yeah, let me, hold up. Are you sure that, wait, hold on. Let me double check that one. He had a what? See, that's where I was like, I don't think he had a 110. A 102. His rating, 102. Not 110. There's a big difference. But again, he didn't play a whole season. Clay Cup. Clay Cup, How much winning is Rodgers? Okay, Rodgers can't stay healthy. And how much winning? Didn't they just fire their coach? And are you saying that we have better wide receivers than Aaron Rodgers has? Is that what you're saying? Your best ability is your availability. In the last 2 years, Aaron Rodgers has been hurt. Actually, last 3. He was hurt actually when he played us in the playoffs in 2016. He's chronically injured. And now he threw the coach under the bus, and they're kind of starting all over. That team is, we will find out more about Aaron Rodgers and find out. This is the thing that kills me. Because when you make a statement like that, but people say, well, Dak can't win without anybody around him. Okay. What was Green Bay's record this year? How about Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh had talent around them. Did they win this year? I'll take Pittsburgh's receiving core against our receiving core any day of the week. How about Matty Ice? Matty Ice had a pretty good receiving core, I believe, didn't he? Sanu? Calvin Ridley? What's that other bum receiver they have? Julio Jones. Did he win this year? Or did Dak Prescott and the Cowboys beat him? I'm trying to understand that. He's hurt as much as Wentz is. An example of carrying a team with an average player if he gets overpaid. Pay has nothing to do with it. You actually, you see, that's where you say, okay, well, Dak's going to get paid, and now he's going to say, F it. You do have a few players like Hainsworth that did that, but as a whole, that's not the case. You have to. So many people think that it's just one guy that wins in the NFL, and I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers has won 1 Super Bowl. If he is the best quarterback in the NFL, then how come he's not winning it every single year, or he's not even there every single year? And again, Michael White, Big Ben is a better thrower downfield, also has a lot more experience. I tell you what, let's look at this. Let's look at this real quick. Because here's an interesting thing that you guys don't understand either. You know that Big Ben, yards per attempt last year, 7.6 yards, right? He's throwing down the field a lot. Completion percent, 67. And I want you to look at how many attempts he had. 675. So 7.6 yards, right? You're following me now, right? I'm not going to do the twist because I suck at dancing. Just humor me for a second here, because I'm sick and tired of hearing all of this stuff. Here's what's interesting. Take a look at this. His yard average, Dak Prescott, 7.4. If you actually take the last 8 games of the season, it's actually 7.7 once we got Amari Cooper. But we'll stick with the 7.4. But take a look at the completion percentage, 67.7, even as bad as he played on the year. And then, let's go down a little more here. Look at how many attempts we had. 459 attempts to 675. You understand my point here? 459 is how many passes Dak Prescott took. 675 is how many Big Ben took. The offense is a ball control offense. And even with that, again, as bad as we were and couldn't do jack, 526 this year. 526. First year was 459. 526, 675. 7.4. Okay, let's go back to Big Ben. Big Ben, 2018, down here, 7.6. 0.2 of a yard further down the field. Completion percentage, 67. So back to your argument. And how many? Oh, okay. Yes, Ben has won 2 Super Bowls. How many years has Ben Roethlisberger played? How many years has Ben Roethlisberger played? Okay, let's go down here. Let me see. Let's see. This is his playoffs. So he won one in 2005 and 2008. That's where the rings are right here. You see the rings there? So those are the Super Bowl years. What has he done since that 2008? The last 10 years. Last 10 years. And he's had AB. Best wide receiver in football. Got Juju. So, back to your argument. Yes, Big Ben has won 2 rings. I agree. In all of these years, he's won 2. Dak's had 3, and at least he's been to playoffs 2 of the 3. Give him some time. But here's what's interesting. Let's look at these numbers a little bit more. Let's look at his rating and the amount of yards that he had. Let's see. Where's the yardage? Yardage. Oh, that's playoffs. Sorry. Playoffs. Okay. Let's look at the yardage. In the first 3 years of Big Ben, okay? Big Ben, 2,600 yards, 2,300, and 3,500. Let's go back to Dak. First 3 years, 3,600, 33, 38. I'm not saying that he's going to have a couple of rings like Big Ben. I don't know that. He could get hurt. But I'm pointing out these 3 years right here versus Big Ben's first 3 years. Look at this. Big Ben, 3rd year, 23 interceptions to 18 TDs. First year, 17 and 11, 17 and 9, 18 and 23. So back to your argument saying that Dak Prescott can't throw down the field. If we compare apples to apples, which is the first 3 years right there, Big Ben couldn't hold his jockstrap. Seriously. Now we'll see how much more he evolves, and that's the thing I keep trying to tell you, that generally speaking, the 4th year is the big year with NFL quarterback. Because look what happened to Big Ben after having 18 was his high the year before. He bumps up to 32 TDs and 11 interceptions. That's why I say power of 4. This is Dak Prescott's 4th year. And you can look at lots of quarterbacks, and there's a trend there. Let's look at Troy Aikman. Because think about where Troy Aikman was. Take a look at where Troy Aikman was his first 3 years. 9 and 18, 11 and 18, 11 and 10. And his best year statistically was his 4th year, 23 and 14. Oh, by the way, he only had 1 year in his career with over 20 TD passes. Take a look at the yardage, and I know it was a different era, 1,700, 2,500, 2,700. But look down the line at this running offense that the Cowboys had. 3,400, 3,100, 26, 33, 31, 32, 23, 29, and 1,600. That's the offense we run. It's the same offense. Great running attack, control the clock, and speed up the game. Hall of Famer, 23 touchdowns, the best year of his career. You're paying the going rate. Everybody has to pay a freaking quarterback. Why is it you think that the Dallas Cowboys can go cheap on a quarterback? That's where you're just being stupid, because you think that Dak's going to go ahead and work for $15 million when this next go round. And here's the thing you got to understand. Right now we're looking at $30 million and thinking, oh my God, that's too much. But I'm going to tell you, 2 years from now, that's going to seem like a bargain. Take a look at this, because I want you to understand, because right now, everybody's doing the argument of, well, all the guys that just got paid, they didn't make the playoffs. Well, most of the guys got paid because they went to other teams. They moved around. Oh, okay, they've updated it now. Okay. Damn, all these updates. But take a look. Take a look at the quarterback. Jeez, oh, flip. Okay. Philly, shut up, Philly. Anybody else? Okay. Let's see if, okay, we're caught up. Take a look at the quarterback compensation for 19. 33 for Drew. Matthew Stafford, 29. 29 for Matthew Stafford. 29 for Kirk Cousins, 27 for Andrew Luck, 27 for Tom Brady, 26 for Ryan freaking Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill! For Christ's sake, Ryan Tannehill. Joe Flacco, 26. Aaron Rodgers, 26. And you're saying, oh, well, Dak Prescott, he should go ahead and he should work for nothing. It's the going rate. It's the freaking going rate. And even, listen, Russell Wilson, his contract, this is the last year of his contract. You think he's going to work for $29 million? Russell Wilson's going to blow all these contracts away. They continue to go up. Eli freaking Manning, who they're not even sure they want to keep him. This is the tier that was before. It's all grouped together. So as you go through and you see this, and even Case Keenum, who's a backup, is $21 million. Come on, man. Jameis Winston, $20 million. And somehow you guys think that Dak Prescott should make less than Jameis Winston. I don't understand how you can even think that. The pay in the NFL never goes down for quarterbacks. Going through, look, go down the line. Look at all the guys that are getting $20 million. Alex Smith, who may never play again. Blake Bortles, $20 million. Jimmy Garoppolo, who hasn't even thrown for 3,000 yards in his career, $19 million. And what's going to happen is Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, when those deals get done, the ceiling gets raised. He won't get as much as those guys unless, although that's possible, if we wait another year and let's say the Cowboys, let me give you a scenario right now. Let's say the Cowboys say, you know what, we're going to pay you, we're going to keep you on that rookie contract for one more year. And let's say the Cowboys ball out next year. Joseph, it's the going rate. Just because the market's inflated doesn't mean that you can change it yourself. Because he can just walk onto another team and get it. And quite frankly, if I know that everybody else is getting paid that, why would I take that much less? Would you do that on your job? Hell, I can go over to Allied Plywood because I'm building a kitchen. And because we put the trade restrictions on it, the tariffs, the Chinese crap imports went from $30-some to $40-some. And the American ones say, well, if they can sell that for $40-some, let's sell ours for $65. It's not costing us anymore, but that's the going rate. We don't want to sell as much, our quality product for a cheaper price than those guys. So what am I supposed to do? Hey, am I supposed to go to them and say, oh, no, you can't sell me because it's overpriced? It's overpriced, so you're going to pay me. You're going to charge me what you used to charge for it because it's overpriced. It's the market of what's out there. You can't change the market. I can't change the market. I'd love to change the market. I'd love to get it for 47 like I used to, but now I got to pay 65 because that's the going rate. And all you guys out there keep saying, "Well, they're overpaid." It's not what they're worth. It's what the market will bear, and the market keeps going up every year. Every year, the salary cap goes up $10 million. And you guys act like this money is coming out your pocket. This is part of the collective bargaining agreement where 50-some% of the revenue gets paid in salaries to the players. If you're not paying to the salaries, guess what? It's going to the owners and sticking in their pocket so they can go out and buy another $350 million yacht. Whereas these guys are out there taking your shit every single day. They're the ones that are out there taking the hits. They're the ones that their bodies are getting broken up like Alex Smith, who is still walking around with an external brace and pins and stuff trying to hold his leg together and keep the infections from killing him. These are the guys that are losing their damn minds with dementia. These are the guys that are at 50 years old, can't get up out of the bed because their bodies broke down. And you're talking about, oh, they shouldn't pay that guy. Put your ass out there and let's see you take that abuse and say, you know what? You shouldn't get paid. It's the most dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because ain't nobody talked about Sam Bradford and all the damn money his ass stole. Got $20 million last year from the Cardinals and played in half a game. Half a game. A guy who was forever broken up, yet went from team to team to team. And nobody ever said anything about Sam Bradford being overpaid, did they? Did they? They didn't, did they? Only quarterback who helped us beat Dak Prescott. Poor Alex Smith. Right, Alex Smith, there you go. Alex Smith is the only Washington Redskin quarterback to beat Dak Prescott. And look what Kirk frickin' Cousins, way up on the list here, $29 million, and that guy never beat Dak Prescott a single time. Stuff is ridiculous. You guys gonna make me lose my religion. Well, I guess Law Nation isn't going to be joining us here today. I guess he got tied up, or maybe had to go back to work. Aikman was overrated game manager who relied on him. Yeah, but you know what, Brady? But the bottom line is this, though, dude. It worked. The Cowboys won with that system, and I'm sure Troy Aikman was a really good quarterback. Troy Aikman could have thrived in another system. Troy Aikman was one of the most accurate passers ever in the NFL. It's just that that's not the system that we were running where we were throwing the ball forever. But because we had a great defense, and I'm sorry, but my computer's locked up on the chats. It may be that it got tired of me yelling so much. Let me pull it up on the other computer. But it was a system that we had with the players that we had that worked. And quite frankly, if you don't have to pass the ball a whole lot, if you can run the ball and run the clock out, hey, that's the thing to do. I'm sorry, I got to reboot this. Oh, there it goes. Okay, back up. All right. For whatever reason, from time to time, it freezes up on here, and I thought with the new router I got that that was going to help it. $23 million a year. Okay, but let's look at where 23 fits in. 23. Understand that you're about to see these guys all go through and get, well, Eli's going to be gone. Aaron Rodgers' deal, of course, his was all front loaded, but Russell Wilson's number is going to go through the roof. Cam Newton, I'm not sure when his is due again. Big Ben, if he still plays longer, his is going to go through the roof. Phillip Rivers is going to go through the roof. Matty Ice, his was front-loaded, more guaranteed money. And Derek Carr. Derek Carr's was 100 and some odd million. So, Joseph Sandberg, if it's close enough, 2 million or just less, give it 2 million. It isn't going to buy anybody's. You're right about that. Oh, I think Randy Gregory being gone changes everything as far as what the team does, because now you've got another hole to fill. So you got to look at first free agency and see what is affordable that can fit the bill of what we need, or do we need to draft him? And the problem you have now is you've got a lack of draft picks because you've got the extra fourth compensatory, but you don't have that impact player pick at number one. We got Amari Cooper, who's an impact player, but you're not going to be able to get a guy who's going to be that blue chipper per se unless you get lucky. Remember, we're 27th in the second round, so you're almost talking about a third round pick. So unless they decide to make a trade with somebody to get more picks in the first round, you're not getting necessarily an impact guy. You get lucky sometimes, but not necessarily will. And so now you've got, to me, you need a couple guys on the defensive line. I still believe tight end and safety. If you don't use free agency, then we got a problem. Malicious Cowboy, if you follow the typical trends, rookie year, quarterback does real good. Second year, they come back to earth. Third year, they right the ship. Fourth year, they start to get better. That has been the trend with almost all quarterbacks, most really good ones. And even let's look at Russell Wilson, because a lot of people would say, yeah, if we had Russell Wilson. But see, Russell Wilson, you got to remember, they had the best defense in football. And when you look at Russell Wilson's numbers, again, follow along here, 2012, 3,100, 3,300, 3,400. Fourth year, 4,000, 34 touchdowns. So 26, 26, 20. Then all of a sudden, the fourth year, again, that's the trend with the quarterbacks. The fourth year is the year. Look at that. Completion percentage, 64, 63, 63, 68. Bam. So this should be the year that we see it. The fact that you now have Michael Gallup, who, as receivers typically the first year, they don't do a whole lot. The second year is when they start stepping up. You're going to see that guy hopefully continue doing better. You know what Amari Cooper can do. Now you got an offseason to work with Dak Prescott. And I think John Kitna will be a better tactician working with Dak Prescott on the mechanics than our offensive coordinator is. So I'm looking at that saying, okay, the AAF free agent pool might have someone to replace Randy Gregory. Well, I'll talk to Michael and see what pass rushers are out there. How you doing, Kenneth? Hopefully these days are over. Well, here's the way you kind of look at it right now. We had two guys that you really worried about on the team, David Irving and Randy Gregory. Well, you're not counting on either of those guys right now, are you? I think all the other guys are all in and all about football, so hopefully that's going to be where we stand for the rest of the team going into it. We start finding out who are the guys that really, really want to be here and really want to do something. And I still think it's a tragedy, to be quite honest with you, that Randy Gregory just can't keep it together. But, the demons are the demons. Oh, Michael Gallup, yeah, I think he's going to be able to do that and more. I see him actually more of a deep threat. And when you look at what the Cowboys ended up doing, if you think about Michael Irving and Alvin Harper had a couple of great years because Michael Irvin was always gathering so much attention. That's going to be what's going to happen with Amari Cooper. And Amari Cooper, you can move around. It's one of the things we didn't do a lot of with our wide receiver is putting him, you can take Amari Cooper, put him outside, you can put him in the slot. You rotate these guys up and you find some mismatches, and you're going to end up finding a lot of big plays. Brody, I tell you what, I see Michael Gallup as number 2. Michael Gallup's going to be a beast next year. I'm not going to say we were set on defense, Dave. I still believe we needed a couple upgrades. You're right about that, Miguel. Yeah, Dan Marino had all the records there and didn't get the Super Bowls. But anyway, guys, we've been on here for an hour. I don't want to hog up the YouTube airways. There's plenty of other guys out there that want to talk and get their voice and stuff in on what's going on. And I need to go ahead and finish. I got to make lasagna for tomorrow and get ready for making shrimp and grits and stuff too for a thing. So I'll have actually, how you doing, TGK? Might have some nice footage tomorrow of some stuff, and I've got some things to work on. But I'll be back later on as I digest everything that's transpired today. Oh no, Michael Gallup Michael Gallup, don't even insult him like that, man. That he's another Terrence Williams. Oh, come on. Gallup is going to be a beast. Gallup will be a beast, but time will tell. But anyway, guys, thank everybody for being in here. We will definitely be updating you guys. I'll have a few more videos up, I'm sure, tonight because, well, you know, somebody put it. I always do. I'm 1,000 videos a day, and, well, I've only got about 800 so far. So, with that being said, I'll see you guys later.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.